Wow, welcome back. And today I'm really excited because we are on 12th of July, one day before the Armageddon. And I want to make sure all of you are really ready for tomorrow. So kind of a start off today's YouTube much earlier. All right, so let's see who's tuning in right here tonight. I want to welcome all of you. And let me just do a quick refresh on my end. And please say hello on the chat box if you are in already. I'd like to see your chat coming in, all right? So that'll be really awesome for me. Okay, I see Adeline, Christopher, Kelvin. Thank you very much. Oh, and Kelvin, you're queuing for the PCR test at Beihai. Oh no, I hope you're well. Kim San John, welcome back. Seven, good to see you from Germany. Wow, you guys are really fantastic, all right? So we got quite a lot of stuff to cover tonight, and I want to start off earlier a little bit more here. And let me show you the big article for today. So big welcome to those of you who are very new to us. This is part of my 100-day of stock market inspiration. Every single day, Monday to Sunday, without fail. We're going to come in here, look at one specific idea, translate that, connect the dots, and then you can act on it, all right? So I think today one will be really fascinating. Good to see you, Jeffrey, Isabella. Thank you for joining us. And all of you coming from different platforms, be it LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I encourage you to watch me on YouTube. I think it'll be so much more higher resolution. I think so, I suspect. Jay, welcome back. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start off today with this big topic, and then we're going to connect the dots, and then we're going to act on it. All right, here we go. PepsiCo raises revenue forecast as it deploys price hikes, smaller sizes to fight rising costs. So you do realize, right, the can of Coke the can of Coke or Pepsi-Cola seems to get smaller and smaller. Right now we are drinking the miniature size of it. Back when I was a youth, it was a huge can. Right now kind of get taller and skinnier, and visually they kind of trying to play with your eyes and play tricks. You think you're drinking more, but you're drinking less, all right? So we're going to dissect this article and a few important key points that we need to raise. And then we dive into the specific idea that we can work on tonight, all right? So here we go. PepsiCo raised its revenue outlook for the year as consumers paid for its Doritos chips and Gatorade. This marks the second consecutive quarter that the company had hiked its revenue forecast without updating its expectation for earnings. I think they are selling more. I heard on the TV interview about they raised the price about 11%. While higher costs weigh on its profits, the F&B giant saw a larger hit from the Russia-Ukraine war. Right? So that's the starting point. But what is important is it raised its revenue outlook for the year, even though inflation push up prices and people paid more for its Doritos chips and Gatorade drinks. This is fascinating. How do you raise your revenue outlook? Now, what's the meaning of raise the revenue outlook? Means that you're going to sell much more. So the dollar cash that you receive is going to pump even higher. And even though they're expecting costs to rise even higher in the second half of the year, the global food and drink giant said it plans to keep shrinking product sizes and deploying other ways to manage rising expenses. So please be prepared. You're going to drink smaller and smaller pack size. It's like a miniature perfume. I'm talking about even smaller than this perfume. Where any smaller bottle than this? All right. So it's like they keep the price same. You're going to drink lesser, and it still gives you the same kick. All right. So I'm not too sure how consumers are taking this. It's just like buying a big packet of potato chips, but we are actually buying air. How many of you heard of the statement, you're buying the air for the pack of potato chips? And by the time you open up, there's only a few chips left inside, right? So we are facing inflation. And by the way, I'm going through every paragraph by paragraph. You're going to understand the big tip that I'm giving away tonight, all right? So I kind of send out alert to all of you guys and make sure you are really watching tonight's episode. And our focus is very much more on how we drive costs out of the business. So didn't have a big spike up, but I'm going to show you where's the opportunity, right? About 1% in pre-market trading is fine. And then we go right down over here. This is the one that we really need to monitor really tight. The company's margins strength as it faced higher freight and commodity costs during the quarter. The CEO said in a prepared remark, Pepsi is accelerating its cost management initiatives and using mix and assortment solutions like smaller sizes for its variety packs. Said the company may sometimes choose to reduce the number of chips in a bag rather than high price. Wow, look at the giveaway. You're going to have fewer slices of potato chips and more air inside, more air volume inside, right? I mean, our suspicion is confirmed. It's not unfounded. It's verified by this statement by the boss that they're going to reduce the number of chips. And by the way, first of all, it's not good to eat potato chips. I stopped eating potato chips. I stopped eating rice. I stopped eating noodles just to cut down on my weight. And I think I'm much, much more healthier right now. And after some time, you look at potato chips, you just turn off. You look at a plate of chicken rice. I like the chicken, but not the rice. You turn off. You look at potatoes, as in French fries, you turn off. And I stopped eating my favorite noodles. I mean, that's the major breakthrough for me, right? So let's press on. I think this is a really fascinating article. They saw a larger hit from Russia, Ukraine. So this is, of course, they mentioned something about baby formula. I like to read about this. It was pausing sales in Russia except for some essential items like baby formula. The company is now trying to discontinue or reposition some of its Russian juice and daily brands. Okay, so we go down all the way here. This is the part that most of you are waiting for, the potato chips. Frito-Lay, North America's. And by the way, Lay is the yellow packaging for those of us in Asia, right? Lay's potato chips. But volume, which excludes the impact of pricing or currency fluctuation, declined 2% and said the division gained market share during the quarter. Wow. More people are eating potato chips. And of course, the other brands under the PepsiCo family, Gatorade, Aquafina, Live WTR, saw double-digit growth in the quarter. All right, so this is really fascinating stuff. So, of course, the rest is, you can read about it. So where is the deal? I mean, playing PepsiCo is the easiest to play of all out there that I've seen, because you simply look for the number one competitor. That's it. And so PepsiCo has announced earnings today, right? And we put the stock charts right next to it, all right? So, I mean, I'm going to show you the stock chart this way. Here we go, all right? And we're going to come revisit this stock chart in a short while. I just want to make sure I'm not blank out by the QR code. Okay, so this is the stock chart, all right, of PepsiCo. And you go down. What we want to capture is not the day before the earnings announcement, all right? So right now we got to be a little bit more creative. The stock price did spike up 1% pre-market, but you can see right after the opening, boom, it starts to go down, right? It started to go down already, this part here, all right? Now, if I click on the 5-day chart, then it's like this. It looks like this, all right? You're supposed to get out at a high, but unfortunately at the opening bell, it started to go sideways. No different from the closing bell of yesterday. So that's like sideways movement, okay? So I go back to the 1-year chart. I switch back. Just remember that pattern just now, and by the way, just remind you one more time, so that you catch the drift. Sometimes when when your teacher want to give you clue, right, cannot be too explicit. we want to capture this part here that it goes ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, and it keeps going up. Okay, just remember this, and I switch back. Now we're going to show you something exciting. And this something exciting is to look at a competitor of PepsiCo. And this is the Warren Buffett company. Ready? Here we go. We are looking at a spiking wealth management system software, our AI software, and of course, first thing I wanted to know is when is the earnings of Coca-Cola. I mean, if Pepsi is doing well, Coca-Cola will be equally doing well. It's a no-brainer to begin with, all right? It's no-brainer. So if you look right over here, it is 14 days later, right? So what you want to see is you got the information today that 14 days later, Coca-Cola will be announcing earnings. But today is Pepsi-Cola's earnings, right? So today is 12th of July. So what I'm going to do right now is we go right over here. We go to 12th of July right here, and we go 14 days earlier. So 14 days earlier will be right there, the last Tuesday of the month of June, right? So I put my red box right there. I'm not too sure what's the exact date. I'm going to click on the month of June. And then the last Tuesday of the month of June, that will be the 28th of June. Okay? I got this data right now, and I say to myself, okay, why don't I do this? Boom! I go to 28th of June on the chart on the right-hand side. 28th of June, which is exactly this red candle right there, mama. All right? So we're going to connect the dots this way. We got the 28th of June, which is 14 days before Pepsi announced its earnings. And if you kind of trace 2 weeks before that, I mean, you enter at the price where I started here, and the price goes to ding dong, ding dong, ding dong until here, 173 over 163. All right, just take it as 173 over 163. You have a $10 profit divided by 163. On the stop price movement, that's 6% up. All right, 6% up. If we were to deploy options, then that will be 5 to 10 times more. 10 times is 60%. 5 times will be 30%. So you are looking at making the 30 to 60% profit if we were to get in 2 weeks before the earnings, all right? So we take this idea, transplant it over to Coca-Cola. How's that, all right? So we're going to transplant this over to Coca-Cola, and we move forward back to July on the left, right? And we transplant it 2 weeks away. That will be 26th of July. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to change the chart. KO, boom. And we look at it right here. We got to look at it big picture and imagine, all right? Imagine. You got to imagine, all right? So today, this is day 1 of the candle. And we try to move it 2 weeks. All right, I'm not too sure whether it will break to the all-time high or 67, or it may even go to 68. Not too sure about that yet, but this is what we are looking at. Now, if we go back to our data right here, of course, this is our proprietary software. We got to see many things, and let me just give you guys a teaser right here, right? The many things I'm looking at right now is that, holy moly, people are already buying ahead. All right? Average price, they're paying about $62, which today we are just a little bit more expensive. We are paying about $63. They put in $56 million, $2.8 million, $2.3 million. Any more people buying? Oh, there are some people selling as well. No problem. I'm more interested in the one who is buying. And then we go down. Somebody put $167 million into Coca-Cola. Average price about $60. And we go down, go down. Wow, any more people buying? Yes, somebody put about close to $1 billion. Average price about $60. This is another $755 million. Wow, JP Morgan put about $584 million. You get my point. All right? So how many of you are enjoying this? And let me just slow down. I need to drink my hot honey already. Can you just please say hello that you enjoy so far on the chat? And then I will give you the big surprise later on. All right? So there's about 10 seconds delay. And I just wait for you to say hello to me on the YouTube chat. Wow, I see Christopher, thank you. I see Azad and rest just watching, but no time to type, is it? Brandy, Isabella, good that you guys enjoy it, all right? Jeffrey, Casey, Mac, Kim San, and John, Ryan, welcome back. Good to see most of you right now on YouTube. Very, very good, all right? Tam, Wiki still on Facebook. You know, I can see whether which platforms you are watching me from, all right? So this technology is really fascinating. Okay, so you got the drift. This is the big story of the day, and I'll end off tonight with one very, very important article. I think this is the landmark article. So proud of it to begin with. You know, where we really see a very, very powerful conservative approach to investing that is found by our very own Singapore's sovereign wealth fund. Let's take a good reading of this and delight in it, all right? Singapore state-owned investor Temasek reports record portfolio value. Holy moly, this is like, I mean, can you imagine the turmoil out there where Prime Minister of United Kingdom got ousted out, Sri Lanka Prime Minister or President got to step down, and all kinds of turmoil going out there in the world, and looks like Singapore is positioned as a safe haven. Strong politics, stable government, and of course, we have our own internal issues. No, we're not a perfect getaway. We have our own issues, but I think the positive overrides the negative. Can you imagine a portfolio of this size? Temasek reported that the net value of its portfolio grew to 286.48 billion at the end of March. That's 22 billion higher than the previous year. That means their financial year is March to March, surpassing last year's record high. This is mind-boggling. They did them well. I think we have to give credit where it's due, right? And then ended off with a very humble statement. You know, the global economy remains in a fragile state. Geopolitical uncertainties coupled with rising inflation, surging commodity prices, and severe supply chain bottlenecks have uncovered further fault lines in the global marketplace, Temasek said. And you know, this is like the kind of confidence that recently I read about it and I was laughing at it, but you know, kind of resonate with Temasek portfolio. I think they are seeing certain things that we are not seeing yet. And I have to bring out this article by one of our upcoming, not one of our, it's the upcoming Prime Minister of Singapore. Let me show you this article that will resonate with the Temasek's article, right? 4th of July, last week, Singapore sees no recession in next year as it seeks to beat risk. You know, every country out there is pivoting towards recession. And you have a finance minister, Lawrence Wong, who is the next prime minister of our country, saying that there's no recession next year. And in the middle of this, let me show you why I'm so proud about it, because today we are hit with the most severe inverted yield curve we ever seen. You can see right now it's the 10-year versus minus the 2-year spread, negative 10. I mean, if I scroll down right here, you look at this drop is damn scary, all right? Look at this drop. April, we dropped until about there, which is around here. We have never dropped so low before, negative 10, 0.1 I meant, all right? So the moment the yield curve is inverted, it means that the 10-year minus the 2-year produced a negative number. And this is a big negative number. My goodness, see this for yourself. This is a big, big negative number. And typically, this is the barometer to predict recession. 50 years of history never failed before. The moment the yield curve inverts, 18 to 24 months later, the economy will dive into recession in the US. And in the middle of it all, you have the finance minister of Singapore saying that no recession next year. By the way, you know, the election cycle for Singapore is kind of closely linked to the election cycle of the presidential election, which they must hold the election by 2024. And right now we are 2022. It's kind of telling everybody, look, we do not expect a recession or even a stagflation scenario next year. Wow. Wow. This is like prophet, man. So, you know, the first time I read this article, I was laughing it off. I say, how do you predict that? And you're going to raise the GST, and you say we're not going to have recession, but I studied the US market. Everybody is telling me it's a recession until this mind-boggling article pops up today. Woo-hoo. That is the secret of our wealth. You need Temasek and GIC to keep churning out cash or profits to sustain our economy. We are self-sustainable in the sense that whatever we invest into, we get out more. We are not losing money. And thereby, that's the confidence the government has to deploy. And by the way, the kind of confidence that the government has is what I call the $700 confidence. All right, let me show you another. We are really damn good at a culture, what we call the voucher culture. All right, ready for this? This is the Singapore culture of voucher. 1.5 million Singaporeans shall receive up to $700 in GST vouchers in August, even though the GST is going up, and you offset, it's still a net effect, but it makes the people feel very rich, $700 richer, to the ordinary man on the street, all right? So, wow. And how do you give out a voucher like this unless this department called Temasek better produce more cash? That is the secret. All right, so I'm very, very proud of this report. It is mind-boggling. How the heck you have such a big portfolio, you can make so much money. That means your darts, the way you throw darts must be so accurate, right? So this is really, really, we got to be very, very proud. But of course, they start laying out, holy moly, all the issues, all right? So let's look at the issues together so that we don't become too proud of its achievement. China may face challenges achieving its 2022 growth target of 5.5, given weaknesses in its growth so far this year. All right. So China is a big question mark, and of course, even though pandemic reopening will facilitate a stronger recovery domestically. In domestically oriented or travel-related sectors, growth prospects in Singapore's externally oriented economy will be weighed down by the global backdrop and the risk of recession in developed markets. In the US, the labor markets remains tight and inflationary pressures continue to be strong. All right. So, as a result, what did they say? Given tightening financial conditions and elevated geopolitical uncertainty, growth is likely to slow meaningfully and below trend, raising the risk of a recession into 2023. So this line kind of contradicts what the finance minister has said, but of course, from the government perspective, they probably have some tweaks. They are already planning ahead to avoid a recession, and they don't want to step in the recession when we are near to a election. You got my point? They must pass through the recession to prepare the country to step into an election. That is the game plan of the finance minister, well spoken. He has to win because this is his first election as the next Prime Minister of Singapore. So are you guys having fun right now, how we connect the dots and look at the government policy, look at the US economy, putting them together, and then we're going to dive in to look at the Temasek portfolio, all right? So while I'm looking at this and what is the name of that guy? Never mind. Let's not bring that up. Okay, so I'm almost done on this article. And of course, it's a very, very positive article, right? And really, really exciting. And because of that, tonight I'll be firing out maybe 2 positions, all right, for our Don't Stop Believing Trades notification. So for those of you who are watching us right now, tomorrow I got a very, very big event, and that's called Trade Through the Night. And I want to encourage you guys to join me for Trade Through the Night. This is the final one I'm doing before I take off with my sabbatical at Harvard Business School. Now, what's going to happen is this. Tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 8:30 p.m. Singapore time, the CPI inflation data will be released. That's the Armageddon. Now, Wall Street expects it to break 9%. Last month was 8.6%. They expect it to hit about 9%. Now, if that happens, we're going to have all hell break loose again. The market will kind of boom, collapse. Because that means the Fed on the 27th of 13 plus 14, 27th of July will have the reasons to increase or hike the interest rates. Last time round was 75 basis points. They may go all the way to 100 basis points. That's 1 percentage point. That is scary, all right? So in view of that, we are organizing our Trade Through the Night right after CPI data is released. So we will start at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 8:30 p.m. Singapore time. We'll trade until the market close, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 4 a.m. Singapore time, all right? I encourage you to join us because this will be the final Trade Through the Night event I'll be doing as before I go for my sabbatical at Harvard Business School. And right after my trip from Boston, I'm rethinking the business for spiking. And one of the big things that we are preparing right now is my book launch next year. And every week I'm just pushing really hard along with my book editor, pushing really, really hard each of the chapters. We hope to get it done before I start my flight. And then we hope to release the book in the first quarter next year, all right? So there's quite a number of changes that I'm going to bring on board on the product side of things of spiking. That's number 1. Number 2, on the way I deliver the programs to all of you. And I hope you like the YouTube series, because we have certain benchmark. If at the end of 100 days I don't hit a certain benchmark, I may just call it, that's it, enough of YouTube. But if this has been beneficial to you, I hope that you encourage your friends, your colleagues, your village, all the people kind of support our YouTube. Let me know that you have benefited from this 100 days of stock market inspiration, okay? Now, if you like to join us for the Trade Through the Night, then the place to go to is spiking.com/Trade Through the Night, TTTN. All right, let me just spell this out right here. It's spiking.com/TTTTN, which is Trade Through the Night. All right. And this is the final big discount offer that you are getting tonight. This is the last time we are offering already. We're closing the shopping cart really, really soon. Now, if you say you are keen and you want to tie through this period of the inflation data, of the FOMC interest rate hikes coming up 27th of July, and we expect August to be a major rally according to one of the most legendary technicians of the world, and his name is none other than Larry Williams. He's predicting a major rally in the month of August, which is next month. All right. So I'm taking all this into consideration as we position our trades for tomorrow. We're going to play about 20 different companies. Some of them are real hot, backed by insiders. And then some of them are rock bottom, so bottom until it cannot go bottom already. And then we're going to go all out, push it through. All right. So I invite you to join me if you have the time. And of course, most importantly, you must come prepared to last through until 4 a.m. in the morning. Okay? So let's take a quick summary of today's sharing. This is mind-boggling. Number one, we talk about PepsiCo and Coca-Cola. You kind of know how I connect the dots. Number two, we talk about Temasek, how they perform so well as a sovereign wealth fund. Thereby, we have confidence to go through 2023 next year with possibly no recession in Singapore. And number three, my last call to action to you, take part in our trade through the night, and that will be the finale before I depart for my studies at Harvard Business School. Thank you so much for joining us right here tonight. I really enjoy this daily sharing, and please get more of your friends to share the YouTube link and get them to watch us on a daily basis. Thank you, and may God bless you. Good night, everybody.